My name is Razif, the Executive Director of Mban and Chief Operations Officer for Cradle Fund. I'd like to welcome you to the Hlb Mban Collaboration launch event.
But you won't know if you're doing it right. You won't have input from different parts of the community, the investment community, which is people like Mban Angels, the entrepreneurship community, led very much by Cradle. And with Cradle, you also have that government community as well.
It's an ability to collaborate, ourselves, Cradle and Mban, to bring the value of the network to the startups, to the entrepreneurs. We joined both Cradle and Mban because we think the whole ecosystem, working with entrepreneurs, working with startups, working with angels, and working with mentors and so on, will bring value to the bank insofar as hopefully investing in new ideas or bringing back ideas into the bank, which could help us to digitize the bank. And as well as bringing people from the bank to work with entrepreneurs, to work with startups, so that we can see how startups go about solving problems, how startups go about serving customer needs, which could be different the way we work, the way we operate. It's a 12-month collaboration, which we plan to kick off with a formal launch at the end of the year and then kick off in January. The idea is to work with Mban to collaborate with a bunch of startups, but eventually we will go through a selection process where we will provide grants to about 5 startups that we think the idea of commercializing the product or services that they have is in an advanced stage and it can really be taken to market.
I think the first thing is that we want to collaborate with the private sector. We need to bring the private sector into the ecosystem. I think it's important to bring the large corporates into the startup ecosystem, right? Because there's lots of things happening, there's disruption happening everywhere. And a large entity like Hlb Bank can actually offer a lot to startups. So we want to bring them in so that startups also have access to them. For example, if you're a fintech startup or HR startup, or even anyone doing solutions, right? You actually want access to the large entities. And getting access to large corporations is actually very, very tough. So because of that, I think if we start this kind of partnerships, if we do more of this kind of partnerships, we can give entrepreneurs more access to this kind of entities. And I think in the banking industry, fintech is really happening, a lot of disruption happening, but it should be the right kind of disruption as well. So we want them to have access, and that's what this collaboration will bring to the whole ecosystem as well. Well, I think the initial impact we will probably only know in the next 6 months, but I think the primary impact will be this, that entrepreneurs will have access to a large entity. So if you want to disrupt the banking industry, for example, you want to offer solutions to the banking industry, don't do it outside the bank. A little startup on their own, trying to do something, not really having access, not knowing what's happening in the bank is a lot harder. So I think if we do this, right, we will have immediate impact in the fintech ecosystem. But I think there are lots of other parts of technology that also have some impact, right? Whether you're doing HR systems, whether you're doing CRM systems, whether you're doing back-end systems. So if we can bring all of them together, right, then you'll have much better technology development. Companies will have more access to what's really happening in the banking system and so on. So I think the initial impact will be for those that are in fintech and offering solutions to the bank. But once we start bringing more people in, so we don't want to just work with a bank, we want to bring other corporates in, then we can have a much wider impact on the larger ecosystem. So I want to thank you all for coming. This is the Mban Hlb Mban Collaboration. We hope to do a lot more for the ecosystem. I'm Dr. Siva I'm the president of Mban, and all the best in disrupting the ecosystem. And you're watching Cradle TV.